The deed's in someone else's name. $340,000. Cash. 3 transfers, 11 days. No flags, no calls, nothing. Legally, you don't exist in this transaction. You close the tab, pour coffee, no sugar, move on. Let's not pretend this started with a plan. It started with $340 and rent due in 6 days. Your cousin mentions, offhand, barely, that his landlord hasn't shown up in 4 months, still cashing checks, never fixes anything, 3 buildings on the same street. You look it up. No name anywhere obvious. Buildings held under an LLC. LLC registered to an agent in Wyoming. Agent lists a PO box. You sit back. Not impressed. Interested. You write it on a receipt. LLC, registered agent, PO box, nobody. Simple. Obvious once you see it. Most people never look. 3 weeks later, you're at a tax auction. Not to bid, to study. To understand how the transfer of assets works when the people in the room aren't paying attention. A duplex opens. $74,000 assessed. Basement damage. Dead silence above $18,500. You have $22,000, earmarked for something else, a car. You've been saving up for 4 months. Your hand goes up anyway. $19,000. The auctioneer looks at you like you wandered in from the wrong building. You got it, eventually. That night you don't sleep. Not excitement, recalibration. You just became a landlord with $2,500 left. Was supposed to be $3,000, but you sent $500 to your mom for upkeep, a leaking duplex, and a receipt in your jacket that's starting to look like a blueprint. 6 weeks. Everything they don't teach you. LLC formation. Land trusts. Deed in lieu structures. What gets recorded publicly, what doesn't, and here's the part most people miss, what doesn't have to. Your name doesn't have to be on anything. Not the deed, not the insurance, not the utility accounts, not the title. All of it routes through structures that are completely legal, almost never questioned, and essentially invisible unless someone is specifically hunting for you. Most people aren't hunting. $89 online. First LLC formed. 3 letters, 1 number. Forgettable by design. Registered agent. No personal details in the public filing. The duplex transfers in. Your name comes off the deed. You check county records. Property exists. LLC exists. You, nowhere. Upper unit rented at $875. Basement fixed over 3 weekends. $1,200 in materials. 0 contractors who know your face. By month 4, $1,750 a month. Both units full, managed through a prepaid number and a secondary inbox. Your tenants have never met you. They don't even know your name. Probably don't think about it. The money clears monthly into the LLC account. You're in a library parking lot reading about land trusts. Here's what's actually happening. You're not building a portfolio yet. You're building an architecture. The properties come later. The structure has to exist first. Property 2, 18 months out. Single-family foreclosure, $61,000. Roof, 1 bathroom, north side windows. Bank wants it gone. This time, you don't bid at auction. The LLC sends a letter. Cash offer, fast close, no contingencies, $57,000. They take it in a week. No loan, no credit check, no underwriter running your name through 4 databases asking why you've moved 4 times in 3 years. Title goes into a land trust. The trust names a second LLC as beneficiary. That LLC is managed by a holding company formed 6 weeks prior. Write it out if you need to. It takes up most of the page. To anyone running a search, the property belongs to a trust. The trust points to an LLC. The LLC points to a holding company. The holding company's registered agent is a law firm in Nevada. You're at the end of a chain with no name attached. Efficient, legal, quiet. By end of year, 4 properties. $6,300 a month, none of it touching your personal name. Your tax return still reads like someone who rents a 1-bedroom and orders too much food delivery. You almost feel bad about how simple it is. But you don't, not even a little bit. Between property 6 and 9, the math stops being math and starts being something else. At 4, you are managing cash flow. At 9, the portfolio is funding itself. 6,300 becomes 14,800. 14,800 becomes 31,000. You stop saving toward acquisitions. The income from existing properties closes the new ones. You're not putting money in anymore. You're redirecting what's already moving. You move out of the apartment, nothing dramatic, a rented house in a suburb nobody's paying attention to. Month to month, your name on the lease, one of the last places it still appears anywhere. Property manager hired for the older units, found someone who does the job and doesn't need context, paid through the LLC. They handle tenants, maintenance, the calls at 11 p.m. about heating. You become a voice, occasionally an email. A friend asks what you do. You say consulting. He nods, doesn't believe you, but who cares? Your mother says you seem far away. You say you're fine. You don't address the second part. Somewhere around property 11, you stop seeing buildings as buildings. They're time, stored, compounding, accessible. Each one is months of your life you don't have to trade for money anymore. You check the spreadsheet at 11 p.m., then 11:04. Nothing changed, you know that. You check anyway. Property 13. First one over $200,000. 6-unit building, aging but solid, cash flowing from day one. Asking $200,000. You have $140,000 across the LLCs. You don't go to a bank. Private lender, found through a chain. Someone knew someone who'd done this. No institution, no application. He lends at 9%, 12 months, secured against the asset. He doesn't need your name. He needs the building as collateral. 18 days to close. You sit in the parking lot on closing day and run the numbers one more time, not because you're unsure, because it's the last moment before the variable locks. 6 units, 4 occupied. $4,200 gross, $1,600 operating costs. $1,050 monthly interest on the private loan. Month 1 net, $1,550. Small, but you used almost none of your own capital to get there. That's not a small number. That's a replicable system. You call no one. By property 17, 4 private lenders, none aware of the others, none with visibility into the full portfolio. They see one asset, their asset. That's enough. Total assessed value, $2.1 million. Personal bank account, $4,300. You'd explain the gap, but it would take longer than it's worth. Different city. Underperforming property. You want eyes on it before deciding, sell, refinance, or restructure. You walk the building. 2 tenants, one complains about heating. One asks if you're the new manager. You tell her you're checking in for the owner. She goes back inside. You stand in the hallway. 22 properties, 9 LLCs, 4 land trusts, 2 holding companies, 1 registered in a state you've never lived in. Monthly gross, $67,000. Net, after expenses, management, debt service, $28,400. Every month, through accounts without your name. Here's what's actually happening. You've built the outcome most people use a bank to try to reach, without ever walking into one. No mortgage applications, no personal financial statements, no underwriter reviewing your credit history, no approval process. The system that controls property ownership for most people? You opted out years ago, quietly. Room service arrives. You sit for a while. You look at the city below, the raindrops on the glass, the cars moving. You think about that receipt. LLC to registered agent to P.O. box to nobody. You don't smile, but you get close. Marcus calls 3 times in 1 week. You've known him since before any of this. He needs money. He knows you're doing well, doesn't know how well, but enough. You don't call back. Not avoidance, explanation requires context, and context has edges you're not interested in exposing. You text, "Can't right now, sorry." He doesn't reply. You feel bad, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Property manager flags a tenant dispute. Could escalate, needs legal representation at the LLC level. 4 calls, 40 minutes. Lawyer engaged through the registered agent. Never asks your name. Contained. You know this is efficient. You designed it to be efficient. You also know you haven't spoken to your mother in 3 weeks. She sent a photo, garden, meal, something. You liked it without opening the full message. Moved on before you processed it. That evening, portfolio review. 37th time this month. Everything is fine. Property 28 closed Tuesday. Small commercial unit attached to residential. First commercial acquisition. $310,000. Seller financed, they carry the note. Still no bank. You log it in the spreadsheet. Close the laptop. The city runs outside the window, and you let it. You built something most people wouldn't believe existed. Almost nobody knows it does. 41. You stopped at 40. Then one more closed before you'd made a call on it. So, 41. You're standing in a commercial unit you haven't decided what to do with yet. East-facing windows, there concrete floor, no furniture because you haven't needed the room to be anything yet. Phone buzzes. Property manager. Unit 4B turned over. New tenant Friday. Deposit received. You read it. Close the notification. New contact. Referred through a chain you've lost track of. 12-unit building. Motivated seller. Prefers cash. Wants to move fast. You type back. Send the details. No enthusiasm. No negotiation yet. Just next variable. You walk to the window. Below, a guy, 23, maybe 26, maybe 30, maybe less. He is looking up at the building, taking a photo, writing something down, then looking up again, studying the facade like he's trying to reverse engineer it. You know that look. It's the look of someone who just realized the system has a gap in it. You look at him for a while. You step back from the window. Your phone buzzes again. You don't check it. The room is quiet, cold, concrete and light, and 41 buildings that don't have your name on them. Not one bank ever learned you existed. You missed it. That's fine.